So big indicator for us always is fear and greed. So we are at extreme fear in the markets. So that generally gives us a bit of a buy signal. I think it's a little bit different for the overall stock market, as we'll see with the charts, but certainly crypto. I think that buy signal is definitely there, and of course we've taken advantage of that. So some of the key headlines. So US consumer sentiment ticks up slightly, so that's a little bit of concern coming into sort of the holiday season and the retail season, for which is normally very, very good in quarter four. China exports surge, which is good news actually, and it just eases those trade war fears, which we've all been waiting for, but we are just facing other headwinds. I think one of the big ones at the moment really is the US shutdown. We're into a record 37 days of a shutdown, which is the longest shutdown ever. And I think the key thing for us is it's just draining liquidity out of the market. That the government's not putting out funds, slowing down liquidity, and I do believe that this is a massive effect for us in the market. And certainly, I think it's one of the major effects hitting Bitcoin as well, and stocks. So we are looking like there's going to be some kind of deal predicted by Thanksgiving, which is the 27th. So we're on the 7th, right? So still a little bit of time. Then this week as well, we had the Fed tilting a little bit hawkish, which wasn't so good, saying that there may not be a rate cut in December. So all of that, if you remember at the conference, we were at 90% that there was going to be a rate cut in December. So that was obviously priced in the market and has brought the market coming off a little bit. So I do like the prediction markets. One of the prediction markets is Kalshi. These are betting sites where you can bet on really any sort of event that's happening, and they tend to be fairly accurate as well. So we're 37 days plus, signaling that Kalshi's saying that forecast is 47 days. So we could be another 10 days of the shutdown. Certainly, I think once we get the government back open again, funds will start flowing, and I believe markets will start moving up again. Here's where we are at on the Fed Watch tool before we were at that. So 90% mark, now we're at 67%. So not a complete disaster. And the prediction markets still at 73% for a rate cut. So, market at the moment pricing in there's possibly no rate cut, whereas prediction markets still looking likely that we will see a cut. And is Tesla this week, which actually, thank God, is the only stock that has been really, really performing for us. I posted earlier in the week that Elon was on Joe Rogan, which was a 3-hour interview, and I summarized some of it for you guys. Don't know if you got it. Let me know if you got a chance to watch that. Definitely very interesting stuff. And then he was on the All In Pod. It was less so about Tesla, but definitely some interesting stuff to hear his perspective. Some of that echoed in the shareholder meeting. I posted this earlier in the week as well, of Morgan Stanley raising their price target to 800, previously 410. So all good news there. So the big event and what's sort of taken up my morning is just digesting the shareholder meeting, which was two and a half hours. And I thought what I'd do is just really summarize it. Some of it actually was already some of it detailed already in the Rogan interview, but I thought I'll give you the headlines from the event. So one of the big reveals, which we did get on the Rogan show as well, is that Cybercab will be coming out with no steering and no pedals. It will just be AI. Production to start on that in quarter two next year. He did confirm actually that these cars will be manufactured about every 10 seconds, but there's a possibility that they could manufacture one every 5 seconds. So mass capability for production. One of the key things for us really though is the cost for the ride. So looking at about 20 cents per mile, which compares to Uber at $2 a mile, because you've got a driver in the car will be more expensive. And Tesla being able to produce these cars for about 15K and to return about 40K a year. So considerable profits potentially coming in the future as they ramp out at the moment. The robo taxi, which are the Model Ys across the states, gearing up for the production to happen for the cyber cabs. So I expect by then everything's sort of going to be in place and ready for that scaling by then. We'll just have to see how that one rolls out. Interestingly as well, the FSD, he said that is going to be completely unsupervised by, he did say kind of by Christmas, but let's just say early 2026. And it's going to be 10 times safer than human driving. One crash in 6.8 million miles, which is pretty incredible. He was saying that you'll be able to text, you'll be able to sleep while the car drives itself. So it's not going to be just applicable to the robo taxis or the cyber cabs. It's also going to be applicable to the main network. So anyone that's got one of those cars in the US, that is, will be able to. At the moment, they do enjoy FSD, but it's not fully self-driving. It's supervised. So you still got to be there, paying attention, just in case something happens. And expected to go into China early next year, subject to approval. So this is massive, really massive, because it did interest me that really only, I'm quoting something that I wrote on another presentation, so forgive me if I'm wrong, but I was amazed that only about 12% of the Tesla users are using FSD at the moment. And one of the goals for Elon's package was to get it up to about 50%. So I just can't see why somebody wouldn't use this if you could have a car that will just drive itself. So I think we've got a lot of that adoption to come. So, and I think I wrote on there that, yeah, this is great recurring revenue. If you think about it, it's almost like the mobile phone package, isn't it? Where you buy a bit of hardware, but you've got some software or a package that you've got to keep up to speed on. So this is all going to be incremental revenue coming into Tesla, and as I say, at the moment, fairly low numbers. It also talks about the Optimus robot, saying it was going to be the biggest product ever, bigger than the iPhone at the moment. In today's costing about 20,000 to produce, but will drop at scale, and expecting prices to be around the 20 to 30K mark at retail. But we're still looking out a little bit to 2027. Next year they'll be manufacturing for internal use, and then looking to 2027 for external use, but really an unbelievable cost if you can have a robot that can work 24/7 for the price of less than somebody, less than an employee. So big things happening there. Expecting 1 million units in 2028 and pushing up to 10 million units beyond that. He did mention 100 million units, but we'll just see if that happens. And it will start rolling out through the Gigafactory in Texas and in Shanghai. So yeah, labor market to be fairly disrupted, but I think for us at the moment, it's still a little bit out, and our focus at this stage will be on the robo-taxi and the FSD rollout. Energy, I think I presented on another presentation that energy's sort of the silent winner for the company. They confirmed again that The business has doubled. It's higher profit margin than the cars. And what we do know is everybody needs more energy to fuel the compute that's getting built out at the moment. So another great win for Tesla. So on the channel before, I think the biggest thing for us, and if you were at the conference a couple of weeks ago, or you've managed to watch the conference, one of the biggest things was Elon getting his package approved, which gives him certainly a massive financial incentive. But for us, the key thing is really of all of the milestones that he needs to achieve. And if you haven't watched that video, I really encourage you to watch it, because there's very few companies that you'll be able to invest in, and to see all of the milestones or what they will actually mean for the company in terms of production, in terms of potential valuation, in terms of market cap as well. So that was a big one for that approval at the shareholder meeting. So that means, okay, the guy's locked in now for the next 10 years, and he's got his roadmap. And as we know, Elon pretty much hits most of the roadmaps. As we mentioned, the Cybercab launch for next year, so that will start boosting the revenue, affecting the stock price. Optimus Pilot, again, I do think that once we start seeing that, we start attributing a little bit more price, a little bit more to the price as that becomes a reality. The semi production as well, I haven't mentioned that, but Tesla have its own semi-truck, which has been in testing with Pepsi. They've been running it around, but it'll go into production early next year as well. So we've got that revenue to look at. We've got China and Europe as well as we unlock FSD over there. And the other big one that I was looking for was to see if they were going to get an investment in XAI. And it was voted for by the shareholders. So has been voted, but it has to go for a board decision. So we'll just have to see how that goes. But I think that would be fantastic if we got Tesla investing that. They do have 42, 43 billion sitting in cash at the moment.